All right, Leo, how y'all doing? So, smash that like button. Uh, please subscribe to the channel. Also, too, there's a link in the comment section below called the Linktree link. Click on it. It will redirect you to a website which has all the ways to be able to financially support the channel. So I can most definitely keep the channel going. Shout outs to everybody that's ever come through. So for you, Leos, you have the Ace of Pentacles, the Justice, and the King of Wands. So, this is pretty much a cut and dry reading, in the sense that it's clear. The Ace of Pentacles and the Justice represents you, Leos, having, right? The King of Wands, you, Leos, having people that didn't really appreciate you when you are around them. And now they feel stupid because they know that they should have always have appreciated you. See, a lot of the times when people play like they didn't know, right? They should have always have appreciated you. But see, the ego is really the enemy in the sense that, their own worst enemy. They make themselves terrible people to even be with because they're playing this game of, well, I'm better than you. So because I'm better than you, it's a situation where they're playing a game of, even though I know for a fact, here we go, even though I know for a fact that I may have to like close this thing right here because what is up with this? But hold on a second. But yeah, so like it's this sense of like, even though I know that you're a very wonderful person, I still have to play this game with you where I'm gonna act like I don't see you. And the thing about it is, especially nowadays, where the age of Aquarius is here, so you have to understand that the air signs represent when the air signs, minds, and hearts. When the air signs, minds, and hearts are in the correct place, they represent justice. They represent, and I'm doing this at night. I'm doing this video at night. But they represent justice. They represent things that should have always have happened this way, finally having a chance and coming into fruition where it does actually happen the way that it originally has intended, but due to politics and due to a lot of backroom deals and dysfunctional people and intellectual dishonesty, certain people that shouldn't have had the benefit actually got the benefit. But now we're living in the age of Aquarius, like what I've been talking about, right? Your opposite zodiac sign. So I'm saying all that to say that now when you Leos aren't around, that's when it is that they're taking all this time to appreciate you. Talking about, just in a general sense, how it is that, you Leos are showing a lot of people that want to waste your time how serious a lot of you really are. A lot of people are very much so stunned by your ability, how audacious you are, how much audacity, or I should say, how bold you are. And I mean, they should have knew, you being Leos, they should have known that by now. But it was that situation for you Leos where they didn't really think that you were really serious about actually leaving them alone until you Leos actually started doing that. That's why you're getting these cards here today, because the Ace of Pentacles represents you treasure yourself, or you favor yourself. You have enough self-respect to actually do the walking away. And then now the justice, right? The justice scales. Now you don't have to do anything. You don't have to try to get back at those people who didn't appreciate you / exes, right? Combination of the two. You don't have to do any of that. All it is that you Leos have to do or had to do, right, in the past and in the future, is just walk away. And now the King of Wands represents you Leos are finally upset enough to be able to walk away, right? And see, a lot of times people will blame me, right? And I, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll have people who will delude me. Oh, the anger, the stuff like this. Listen, let me explain something to you. A lot of you are right on one part, in one element, but then a lot of you are wrong in another element, because sometimes anger is how it is that you actually get stuff done, right? So I'm saying all that to say that's how it is that you get stuff done sometimes. When you get frustrated enough, right? Which is the King of Wands. When you get frustrated enough to actually look at the situation where you're so upset, you're so frustrated, you're so infuriated at how people don't take you seriously. And it's not that they really don't take you seriously. Like I've been talking about, it's all a part of a ploy. It's all a part of a long-term plan to get you to be chasing up after somebody else. What have I been saying for a year? Haven't I been saying that, you know, all of the going with the Ray Rays and the Pookies and the Keishas, you know, the dysfunctional people, the hood ghetto people, regardless of whether you are where you are, regardless of skin tone, regardless of hair texture. When I'm talking about ghetto, I'm talking about ghetto no matter where it is that you live, whatever, okay? Because you know how people sometimes like to, you know, hypersensitive and you know, they prototype ghetto-ness to, you know, people who would look like me. And it's like, no, I'm not necessarily talking about that. I'm talking about ghetto in the sense of the hood mentality, the dysfunction that comes along with it. When you Leos finally get enough anger and frustration to actually be able to walk away from this, you're looking at the situation worsening itself. And you Leos are looking at it like, I think I could open this window now. I ain't even gonna lie, it's warm up in here. You know, forget about that. It's warm up in here. But you know, you Leos actually getting to a point where you're looking at it and you go, no, something needs to be done about this situation. Something has to be done. And you Leos actually did do something. You Leos decided, you know what? You're walking away. You don't have to deal with dysfunctional people. All it is that they want to do, it seems like, is compare themselves to you in competition, hyper competitive, you know what I mean? Trying to get you to chase up after them, having you trying to jump through hoops. A lot of you Leos are like, yo, you're done. Like, you'll be the judge of when you will go after somebody. You Leos will be the judge of when this person is worth me going out on dates. Not chasing, but going out on dates. You Leos will be the judge of that. And personally, a lot of you Leos are taking your power back, because the Seven of Pentacles represents you had a dream of being in a family, like starting a family, having a family. But so many people are on some stupidness is what it is I'm seeing when it comes to you. Like, so many people act like they lose their brains for whatever reason, right? And then you have the Sun card. So you showed up in your own reading. The Sun card represents, but you Leos, it's not doom and gloom for you, because you Leos still understand that, you know, you're worth having self-respect, you know? Because sometimes some people who come to this conclusion of how dysfunctional the dating pool can be sometimes, they get broken. I'm not even gonna lie, they get broken. They get completely dysfunctional. They can't function. But then sometimes you have people, well, a lot of times you have people like yourself, Leo, where you get it for what it is, you know, especially if you've been over here on my channel. You get it for what it is. It's not about having somebody else be your peace for you. You need to have your own internal peace before you go trying to date someone long term, that is. Because a lot of the things that a lot of these people to say on the internet, there's a lot of holes in their talking points, you know, how it is that people need to be other people's peace. And it's like, no, we need to start talking about you being your own peace. And if the and that this and the self-respect that comes with that is what gets you Leos, right, in a general sense, to not take squat from anybody else. Because when you Leos or anyone in a general sense has self-respect, right, they're not going to take trash from other people if it's going too far. They're not. And that's the same thing for you Leos. You Leos see it for what it is. Like, yes, you're having a little bit of hard times, but only because of, you're starting to see what I'm talking about, only because of the dysfunctions of others. They secretly like you, but the problem is they're doing all of this to get you to jump through hoops. And that's where it is that that's where it is that the dating pool, a lot of the dating pool is now. Because all of this talk about Ray Rays and Pookies and how come the Ray Rays and the Pookies have so much access, all of that type of stuff, this is the stupidity of it. All of that type of stuff is nothing but a long, drawn out plan, right? Where the Pookishas, right? The Keishas who are dysfunctional go with Ray Rays and Pookies to get the decent individuals, right? Maybe even Ray Rays and Pookies going to Keishas, right? On either side, you know what I'm talking about. Because they're essentially trying to spite you. And what I mean by that is they want you to be jealous of what the Ray Ray has, what the Keisha has, right? What the Pookisha has, right? So now it's like they want you to be chasing up on after them. But where they end up getting it wrong is they put so much of an emphasis into the Ray Ray, right? Or the Keisha. They end up like having little ones with them. And then now it's like they're trapped in this life, right, that they created for themselves, or the circumstance, because now it's like they didn't even really want a family with such and such. They was just trying to use this to get at such and such because they bet too much on such and such, you know. So now the Ten of Wands represents you Leos see this now. That's what it is I'm getting at. You Leos peep game on all of this. You Leos peep game on the whole social dynamic of how things work out. Like, people be playing, and a lot of you Leos are fed up, like permanently fed up. Like, if you know what I'm saying, like it's deeper than a little bit of a break. Now it's like you Leos are like, yo, the Ten of Wands, you will stop talking to somebody and cut them off if that's necessary. You do not have to engage with them at all. The Nine of Pentacles, you've become someone new, right? Spiritually, you've become someone new. On a soul level, you've connected with your soul, a lot of you, right? The Leo represents the soul anyway, but a lot of you Leos have connected with your soul. You know, some of you Leos, and you realize you're getting more in touch, having the dark night of the soul. You're getting more in touch with your own self. Because truth be told, that's what the dark night of the soul is. The dark night of the soul represents carbon, or the dark night of the soul represents the kind of like the shadow that's being casted on the wall. Meaning that who are you? You know what I mean? Like, who are you? Not just you as far as your public eye, but like, or like your shadow that's casted on the wall where it's illusionary in that sense. But who are you for real, for real? You know, what do you really like? What do you really want as far as a relationship is concerned? Do you like single parents? Do you like having to spend every single time on dates where you have to be the one to take such and such? And I'm talking about on either side, to take such and such out. It's like such and such out. We need to actually ask ourselves these questions. The dark night of the soul is to kind of demystify it, is just getting in touch with your soul. It's just getting in touch with yourself, in essence. I don't want to, I don't necessarily want to go out and pay for everything all the time. I don't. And if a person is legitimately going to chastise me for me not wanting to spend money on everything, truth be told, that's not the right person for me. Respectfully, if I'm really going to 1,000,000%, that if a person is going to get upset at me because I don't necessarily want to pay for everything, they're not the right one for me in the first place. Truth be told, because why are they getting so bent out of shape that they have to be an adult and pay for things? Like, yes, this is what adults do. Adults don't, like, people who have a mature, level-headed understanding do not get into a fit or a temper tantrum that they have to do the adult thing and pay for their own stuff. That's what it is that adults do. They pay their own way through life once they reach a certain age. So this is the point that I'm trying to make. The Nine of Pentacles represents a lot of you Leos have been like spiritually baptized, in the sense that who have you become is someone different, because you have that dark night of the soul where you're more in tune with your darkness. And I've said this before, like, even fire signs have a dark side to them. The problem that a lot of you fire signs be having, especially with you Leos, is that a lot of people think that just because you represent the sun that there's no darkness there. And it's like, no, that's not true. If you've ever seen the sun up underneath that type of microscope that can capture that type of stuff, the sun is actually pretty dark. If you the surface of the sun is actually pretty dark, and it shoots off light, but the actual surface of it, like the actual texture of it, right, is actually pretty dark. It's a dark substance. But the Four of Wands now represents how a lot of you, once again, because of the Four of Wands, because of all these notifications, because of the Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands and the Three of Swords over here. The Four of Wands and the Three of Swords over here represents, because of the hyperbole, because of the theory of it. And what I mean when I say the theory of it is the theory of you Leos know that a lot of you are good catches. I'm not capping. I'm talking about the people who put in the work. Decent individuals. I'm talking about the people who legitimately put in the work, the Leos who are watching this, who legitimately doing it. I'm not talking about the people who say that XYZ. I'm talking about the people who really do the right thing, even when it's difficult to do that, for real. You Leos know, let me show you the cards. You Leos know good and well that y'all should be rewarded for your excellence, for your loyalty, for thing. And people find it hard to treat you with respect that you deserve, honestly. But it's okay on one level, because you Leos respect yourselves anyway. But then on another level, even though it is okay, because at the end of the day, you're good, it's not okay on another level, because this is exactly where the frustration came from in the first place. The idea that you Leos are done with, you're done playing the game. Like, you're bucking the system in a sense. You know what I mean? It's more about, a lot of you Leos are becoming, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, like Paul Atreides from the movie Dune. You know what I mean? Like, you're being able to actually have prescience, which is like you're able to actually see the undercurrent that all of these people, even though they know that you're a wonderful catch, when they start up with their games, you know where the mind games are about. The mind games are about trying to get you Leos to chase up on after them. Now, chase up on after them while they go actually, right, physically go hang out, right, with someone else, give them the relationship, right, ignore you, right? Now, what they're ignoring, I don't know. And it goes to show you the intellectual dishonesty of it, the fact that they can ignore you, especially if you've been doing some great things, right? Real well-rounded things. A person who plays like they can't see something that you're obviously doing is playing in your face. They're intellectually dishonest. You know what I mean? So it's the frustration of, look at how warped a lot of things are. And this is what this realization and the real understanding that needs to be action done is why it is that a lot of you Leos are like, you're done. Like, you're gonna move how you want to move. And if a person doesn't care, who gives a squat? I see a lot of you Leos are like, because it's all garbage anyway, because you Leos now a lot of you are coming to the realization more and more and more that in other words, how can I say this? That like, it's useless to be trying to it's useless trying to convince anybody of anything. It's useless to try to show the world how valuable you can be, because the world always has some sort of contingency plan to be able to move the goalpost. So a lot of you are kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, where other people would get down and sad about this, you Leos are again, star card, Aquarius. You Leos are able to see it for what it is, because you see, right, the light in the darkness. You see what's going on. You see yourself as a star. The sun is a star, ironically, right? So you see yourself as one. It doesn't matter if a person confirms that or not. You see it in yourself. So let's clarify the star card. So you Leos have the Hermit, right? Two of Cups, Eight of Wands, Page of Wands, Five of Cups, right? Because I can't make this up. The Hermit and the Two of Cups represents because you have been going through a dark night of the soul. You've been getting more in tune with who you are, not who other people are, who you are. And you're starting to be able to just automatically, second nature, be able to know who you are in relationship to your surroundings. And because of that, now you Leos now have more knowledge to move the way that you're supposed to be moving, right? For instance, like with me, like it is that I said before, I don't necessarily want to go 100% on the dates. Another thing, I don't particularly have a particular, I should say, ethnicity or country in mind in particular, because I don't really look at those things to say I'm kind of pigeonholing people for their country per se. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, as long as the person is on point and I like who the person is, I'll give the person a try. You understand what I'm saying? As long as they meet certain requirements that I have. They don't necessarily have to be the most pretty person in the world, just as long as they're all right. You know what I'm saying? At the very least, as long as they're all right. They ain't got to be the prettiest person in the world. And then not only that too, but like I said, honor and integrity and stuff like this, you know, the ability, the values of wanting to work. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not necessarily talking about a 9-to-5 job. I'm talking about on a greater good, a greater vision. Other than, you know, those are some of the things that I like, because I went through my own dark night of the soul. And it's the same thing with you Leos. Whatever pops up, whatever bubbles up from the subconscious mind to the surface of your mind, right? Spiritually or non-physically speaking, is who it is that you are. You understand what I'm saying? You know, I like I said before, I like Brazil. You know, I speak not fluently, you know, broken, but I speak Portuguese, you know, Brazilian Portuguese. So it's like, and then now, right, the Seven of Wands and the Page of Wands is about how, and once, now that you're beginning to understand yourself way better, now, or much better, now it's like you Leos understand the severity of how lame a lot of people are. So now a lot of you Leos are going to flip it, where if a person wants you to chase up on after them, you're going to kind of start like treating them or looking at them a certain kind of way, like they're dorks, because they got to be on some loser type stuff, because they doing all of this to get you to be interested in them, when it's like, if they have more game, if they have more common sense about themselves, they would realize they didn't have to do all this. And the Five of Cups represents you're going to get a lot of people pressed about this stuff.